Hey, this is Al Barr from the Dropkick Murphys, and you are watching Tribal Area, baby. For me, I mean, I kind of like I grew up with the classics of punk. You know, I'm kind of older, so I grew up with, like, the Ramones, Sex Pistols, Clash. That Stiff Little Fingers, that kind of ilk. Hardcore came, a little bit later. I guess when I was like, 9th grade, 10th grade, I got into like, Boston hardcore and more SSD Control, Gangrene, DYS. The classics. I've been doing the band for 10 years, 17 lineup changes. It just was one of those things, you know what I mean? I came back from a European tour, and I'd already made the decision, and things weren't really that good, you know what I mean? Like, I wanted to start a family with my wife, and that wasn't looking like it was something that was gonna happen with the way I was living my life. And so I was gonna get a job in a factory with benefits and, give up on music. And at the same time, my phone rang, and it was the guys in the Dropkick saying, hey, you might quit. We need someone to come and see if you could do it, and the rest is kind of history. Funny, we had a bunch of Kenny's friends are actually extras in the movie, and we thought it was them at first. This guy Dennis Lynch, we thought it was this guy at first, had given Scorsese the CD, and we were all like, Dennis hooked us up. And it turned out to be Robbie Robertson from the band, the group, The Band, and Scorsese did his first feature film kind of about the band, and so he and Robbie Robertson have been good friends. Unbeknownst to us, Robbie Robertson is a fan of the Dropkicks, and he actually played the CD for Martin Scorsese, and he fell in love with the band, and thank God he put us in this movie. I mean, it was an amazing thing. What can you say, man? I mean, it's Martin Scorsese, you know what I mean? This guy's, Raging Bull's like one of my favorite movies. I mean, the movie was a great movie, whether we were in it or not. Departed was an amazing film, but then to have him actually say, thanks to us, on when he, after, all the years he got ignored by the Academy, to think that while he's finally getting his Academy Award, that he thinks to think about the Dropkick Murphys. We couldn't believe it. We're like, we're not worthy. But what's even funnier, when we did a video for the movie, for the song, and when we were doing the video for the song, we thought, wouldn't it be cool if we could get permission from the film company to use clips from the movie? And we said, we'll ask. They'll say no, but we'll ask. It can't hurt to ask. So we emailed to Warner's, and we said, Warner Brothers, we're the band that was in the movie, blah, 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 blah. Can we get permission to use clips? And we're waiting for the big no. And all of a sudden this email comes, and it says, tell the band they can use whatever they want. I don't need to see the treatment for the video. Love the band. Signed, Marty. And we're like, wait a minute, that's Marty as in Martin Scorsese. So he got the email, and he answered the email. So right away we're like, this guy's, he's just he's really down to earth and a great guy, you know what I mean? We haven't met him yet, but we can't wait if we ever get a chance, and we just have to say thank you, Martin Scorsese. Well, my mother's German, so that was my first, das war meine erste Sprache. Und darum kann ich ein bisschen Deutsch, aber so gut ist es wieder nicht. Aber Boston ist so ähnlich wie, also it's very, New England as a whole is very European, because when the settlers first came from Europe to America and they built the cities and things, I mean, it just, it was very European influence, obviously. That's where a lot of the people came from. So, you see that influence. I mean, once you get to the Midwest and the West, it all changes completely, you know what I mean? But New England is very, a lot of the cities and are set up in the same kind of vein, you know what I mean? So it's similar, but I'd say that the people are the same. I always say people are the same pretty much everywhere you go, you know what I mean? Everybody, has a family and a hometown pride, and you find that everywhere, and I think that's why our music kind of reaches so many people, because, it's a very universal theme. Well, I think it's all right to love your country as long as you're not in people's faces about it. Like, I think, and of course I'm an American saying that right now, which is, it's hard to be an American these days with that asshole in the White House. Obviously we're not George Bush supporters, but I think it's all right to be a patriot. But to me, true patriotism is questioning your government in a time of war. You know what I mean? And being against the war, like we are, you know what I mean? Like, we support the troops, but we don't support the war, because it's a working class over there fighting. You can say, yeah, I love my country, but that doesn't mean that you're saying we're better than your country, you know what I mean? I think it's a natural thing to love where you're from. I think where people get a little fucked up is when they start to go, we're better than them, and we're better than them, and we're better than them, and that's when you start to have problems, you know what I mean? Because it's not about being better, it's about sharing experiences, it's about going somewhere else and seeing how somebody else does it and learning maybe from each other. That's what music does, you know what I mean? When bands travel around the world, whether they're from, from Africa or from Ireland or from Boston, Mass. Playing a new song tonight called "The State of Massachusetts," and the new record comes out sometime in September. I don't think we have an official release date right now. I think it, hopefully by the end of September it'll be out. You know what I mean? In the States and over here, we're still kind of flying by the seat of our pants. Like I said, we're fielding mixes right now. We left literally the day we left. We were still in the studio back in Boston. So what I mean? It was like kind of rushing everything together, as it were. We're kind of mixing it as we're on this tour right now, so that's kind of interesting. We're getting mixes every day through the computer, modern, very technological. We're not very technological, so we're fucking that up all the time. But yeah, it's going good.